Build process, super easy, no flex cuts, 1.6. This has got to be the biggest case I've ever seen. This wireless tech is working beautifully. Welcome in, welcome in. Today, we're going to be checking out the QK Alice Dual. This has got to be the biggest case I've ever seen, bigger than the Kaban from TGR. When you open it up, you're greeted right away with some pretty beautiful packaging. These nice boxes, PCB and plates, wrist rests in the top pocket, bottom pocket, accessories for the Duo. You got your wireless receiver and the two case halves. Very nice. It's got the magnetic badge here, pogo connectors, hinge mechanisms that you can lift up to tent up. All right, so starting from the top, let's take a look at what we got. It's so big, I'm gonna try to do each piece separately. Got the PCB and plate. Nice little box with the dual branding, DU0, but it's a nice little cute happy face. Soft touch laminate box with silver foiling on it. Very nice, very nice. Let's take a look what's in here. I mean, obviously it's a PCB and plate, but got stabilizers by Cordy Keys. I don't know if these are Owl Lab or what. This little box. This nice little package here. Got the plates. This one's the Yalu plate. Forced layout bottom here with stab cutouts. LED diffusers. Very nice. Looks like the PCB is packed in the same packaging with the foams. It's got a perforation here if you want to split the two halves just like the board. Let's take a look at these. Effectively making two pockets. Okay, so we've got the left hand side, standard plate foam, PE foam, and case foam, and thin case foam. And I believe the sides have ESD plastic sheet as well. So we've got a total of 4 foams plus the ESD plastic. Here's the PCB, 1.6 millimeter. This is not a reset button. This is for the assignable buttons that are on the front for RGB. Also reassignable via. No flex cuts, 1.6. Pogo connector. What is this? This is the left-hand side. So you've got a forced layout here. Couple of flip stabs. You've got a flip stab here on full control or step caps. Sorry, not stabs, flipped sockets. Looks like this side here is probably split left. We'll give you some socket splits too. We're going to use this one, which is default upside up. This bottom row is all upside up, which is good. Because on the Neo Ergo, it was flipped. Some of these were like randomly flipped because they were supporting a bunch of different layouts. Okay, I'm going to need this. Right hand side, same complement of foams, which we won't be using. LEDs here. Split back, which is good. Both of them upside down. Split right. Both of them upside up. Actually, no, this is the arrows. You can build this with arrows or without arrows. I will be building it as a 60 because I don't like having an arrow here instead of a... I don't like having my shift key right of the arrow. I don't want an arrow in that zone. So I'm going to make this the shift, this function, and then these are like supers and alts and whatever. Same idea, Pogo connector. Anywhere there's dual support, you got flip sockets. But overall, not terrible. Now these stabs, I don't know if they're Owl Lab stabs or not. Clip-ins, pre-assembled sets. Looks like there's 5 of them. They have sideways wires, which kind of implies they kind of look like Neo stabs actually. This little guy is this is the piece of plastic that lets you get some leverage when you're tilting the case for a 5-degree angle. You can use this to help get some leverage to pull down on it. This I will keep out. All right, let's put all this back away here. Moving on to the next part, we've got wrist rest. This one is not laminated, but it is debossed with black ink. Also quite nice. Very nice. These are the wrist rests. They are color matched to the cases, which is nice. These are the wrist rests. Very nice. They're color matched. Rubber feet. They say QWERTY keys and they say Alice Dual here. Alice Dual. QWERTY keys. As far as I know, these two are identical, including the feet. So these are non-directional, they're interchangeable. They come with the, you pop the top off. There's this magnetic piece. And this is so you can switch it to this side if you're going to do this kind of tilt. This side if you're going to do the opposite tilt. And everything's just magnetic and then inside. So the way it works is like, you would put this on here. There's a little tab here that this slots into. And then, boom. And it's friction fit when it's closed with this gasket. It's not the most elegant, but it's good enough. It does the job. And then when you want to flatten it, comes off and stores inside. Pretty good. This is a $45 option. It doesn't come with the board. I think it's worth buying though. I mean, it is CNC encoded to match with whether you use it or not, and there is storage in the case that can handle these. I think it's worth it, unless you absolutely are not going to use them. Okay, so that's the top part. Now we get to the board itself. We've got accessories for the QKLS Dual. Looks like a screwdriver, a switch puller, keycap puller, and the magnetic cables. The magnetic cables you're going to need. Everything else I don't need because I have my own, all that stuff. Looks like we've got the one side on the right, another pack on the left, little goodies. We've got the gaskets. We've got the feet. We've got the LED diffusers. USB-A to USB-C cable. Note that there is a, what's this called again? Captures the RF coil of some kind. Clamps around, it removes RF frequencies. It's probably needed because the receiver is probably sensitive. So you want to filter out any noise going to your computer and back, probably, but I also might be talking out my butt. Standard stuff, we've got a QK screwdriver, switch puller, and keycap puller, which I never use. Okay. These are QK proprietary, basically their version of a MagSafe cable. Non-directional. They might be directional actually, but because of the magnet polarities, they will never connect to where they're not supposed to connect to. So there's never any worry about that. But I actually don't know if this connector is directional or non-directional. But they will not connect unless they go the correct way. Pretty cool. Hopefully QK does sell these separately at some point, because you will need them to charge your unit, your batteries. You get 2 of them. Presumably if one breaks, you're going to have to charge one half at a time. If you lose them both, you're really out of luck. QK traditionally has been pretty good about support though, so and I think there's ample demand that people are asking for it. Okay, so let me keep track of what I need here. Normally I would have used my own custom RGB cable for my receiver. I still might, but the presence of this filter here, or coil, or whatever it's called, for RF may be necessary. So that stores right here. Beautiful. This is the guts. This is the heart and soul of the unit, the receiver. There's a clear screen here that's protected. We'll get to when we open it. Double MagSafe. These go to the these 2 pieces, mostly to charge, because I believe everything else is set up wirelessly. There's a plastic front. Facilitate wireless signals probably. USB on this side. That goes to your computer. So your computer feeds this. As far as your computer's concerned, it sees the board. It doesn't really care if it's wired or wireless, because this is doing all the communication to your PC. And then this forwards and intercepts signals going to these 2. And I remember reading the notion that there's some AI compression and fancy wireless protocol that's happening between these 2 across the 2.4 that'll give you 8,000 hertz or whatever that is, the refresh rate or the polling rate for you gamers out there. I don't really know because I never use that kind of thing, but my suspicion would be 8K polling rate would just eat the batteries on these 2. So you probably just leave it on default, unless it defaults to 8. I really don't know. We'll have to check that out. Possibly a setting in VIA for 8K polling versus 1K polling. But apparently it's quite sophisticated, and no one's done it before, particularly in a split. And then the other claim to fame is wireless VIA, apparently using QK's web version of VIA. These can be remapped while it's wireless. So basically they want you to use wireless and use these just for charging. Mostly, yeah, that's my take on it. But we'll see. Very nice. Nice high piece of tech here. Cases themselves. My particular unit here is E-coated. And I believe there's PVD under here. We're going to check that out. Shiny PVD, or maybe not, because the yellow unit might be just coated white. This is the battery cover. This will come off and expose the battery underneath. This is the hinge mechanism. It's slotted on the side that you need to tent with. And that's what that little plastic tool that we saw earlier was for. Wherever I put it now, here it is. So it's got the same shape. You would slot it in, and this gives you leverage to hold onto it. So basically you slot it in, hold onto it, and pull, and this would tent open. It's a screwless design, so you will have to pull some caps off if you're going to take this apart. Even though it's got pogo pin, it doesn't have ball clasp, which is fine with me. I mean, you're really not going to do that often. This is the RGB button. Can be remapped to do whatever you want if you need it to do macros. This badge comes off, interchangeable. I think you can buy them on QK like in different colors for like $7. And there's a screw underneath here. XT column here. Right hand side's more or less identical, just the opposite side. Everything's pre-built, everything's ready to go. Apparently you turn this on and it'll connect automatically. Assuming these batteries haven't lost all their charge. Magnetic connectors, and that's it. And this one hinges open as well. It appears the feet are already installed. We've got feet already installed on both of these. Feet already installed on this, which means these are extra feet in case you lose some, I guess. Probably won't need these. All right, let me double check this. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you're using full backspace. I'm going to be using split backspace, so it'll be four stabs required. We're back. I've got the stabs on. We're using Night V3s. Alu plate. And I've got the diffusers here. Bunch of screws. I'm not too sure what the screws are for. Maybe they're extras. And it appears to be gaskets. Extra gasket for the wrist rest. And these are the diffusers. So we've got short ones, longer ones. I think the long ones are for the sides, escape and backspace area. And the short ones are for in between the letters. So they go in from underneath. Like so. Now I read somewhere that the top one goes from above. Nah, that wouldn't make sense. It must be from the bottom as well. Yeah, because these would hit these LEDs there. Like so. All right, I've got the diffusers in. Going to be using cilantros today. All right, I'm back. Built with the cilantros. No foam at all. Now we check out the case. Now we're going to put the gaskets on. There's two different kinds. There's this skinny kind, and this one would be the fat kind. Yeah. So the skinny kind has a little peg for alignment, and the fat kind has a bigger peg. This one's harder, which is probably the one I'm going to use, because I do like a stiffer touch. This one is soft and flimsy. So these are socks that just go on the PCB. This is PCB gasket sock mounted. Just like that. Now we got the case. Boom. We got the receiver. QK recommends you inspect it thoroughly before opening it. Once it's opened, any defects will be up to their discretion. Now, this being coat, there's a little bit higher chance of there being issues. Ish. Looks fine to me. All right. So as I noted before, these is going to be screwless design. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 under the badge. And same with this side. Now, according to the build guide, they recommend not fully disengaging these screws. Just leave all the screws in when you lift this off and place it down so that you won't have any issues with realigning it with the bottom case. So, all right, let's see what we're dealing with here. Rah, rah. Very nice, very clean. This is the ESD protection sheet. It does have cutouts for these acoustic rails here. So the sheet goes through, these rails go through the sheet, the ESD sheet. This is the dual badge. It exposes the other screwless screw here. These are available to purchase separately for I think $7 for a set. There's a set of 2 because this one is interchangeable with this one if you want the happy face on your receiver and QK on your board. This one, be careful because you're slicing the plastics. There is a clear screen here that can be scratched pretty easily, so you just want to be careful when you're getting your knife anywhere near here. All right, here we go. This badge is supposedly removable. We got a knob. I think by default it is volume up and down, and it's clickable for mute, but you can map it to whatever you want. These knobs are also interchangeable. You can buy them separately. These are the MagSafe QK's version of it. This is the plastic window for wireless, and I believe they're on the back of each of these as well. This is a plastic window. Helps shoot signals to the receiver. All right, so this piece of foam is for protection, I guess. If you could have knifed it or scratched it, it does come right off. This is the guts, where all the engineering technology is handled by these two chips. All right, so you've got left power, right power. These will light up once you've got the solid wireless connection, and then give you battery levels. So as you see it going down, you know when to charge. As well as, I'll tell you, left in mode, and then whether you're on the Windows or Mac. Cool. USB to your computer all the time. Very, very nice. If you have one of these, then you no longer need one of these or any other volume devices. So this will presumably sit at the front of your desk all the time to power these two. All right, let's check out this screwless design now. All right, now we deal with the screwless design. So they say not to take these screws right out. Now, I don't know what that means, because, like, how do you... Won't these come all the way out on their own? Guess we'll find out. And I didn't take the tape off, which I probably should have. Look, see, they've come out already. Put this back in. I have a magnetic screwdriver, so these screws are coming out regardless. I don't really see how this is going to be an issue, though. Not for me. I guess they want to leave the screws in because if your PCB is in, now you got to get these screws past your switches. And that would be a pain in the ass for, you know, someone that wasn't used to it. All right, so the cover is off. That's for the hinge, for the tenting. I just want to check it out, but we'll deal with that after. This is the battery cover. $1800 milliamp battery. This piece is coated white. Snaps on with magnets. Now this should be pogo pin. Oh yeah, grabbed it right away. That was easy. See this side. Again, QK suggests you leave these screws in for alignment and for easy assembly. But my screws are coming out with my screwdriver, so I've taken them all out. Coating is great. Tops are labeled L and R. I don't know if you can see it in the camera here. This is the button for RGB, mapped to RGB by default, but you can map it to whatever you'd like. Boom. Pogo connectors are very, very convenient. That's not a big deal. This closes right on. You have access to all screw points. I don't see this as being a big deal to put it back together again. There's no wiggle room, no play. Tolerances are great. There's some slight compression on the gaskets. Pretty good though. Nothing crazy. Okay, so let's get these screws back in. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. You don't need to leave these screws in. This is straight in, straight out. The tolerances are so good, there's no way of screwing this up. Unless you drop your screw in there. As long as you have a good screwdriver and your screws aren't going to go anywhere like this, and you know what you're doing, you can see the hole. That's what she said. Get her in there. Perfect. Now that this is put together, I can probably show you this hinging in a second. All right, we're back. I don't have caps that match this yellow, so we're gonna go with the meme set. Handerbite. This will go with any board. Any board with colors. I don't really have artisans that match it, so I just threw all the yellow ones I had. Yellow ones. Receiver showing everything's connected, everything's good. Let's get some monkey type going here. Not bad, not bad. Now for the mods, I guess I gotta disconnect this guy. Pretty good, pretty good. I haven't tried the wrist rest yet, but that type pretty good. With the hard gaskets and the alu plate, it is on the stiffer side, which is what I like. You can see that there's very little flex at all. A little bit on the corners here, but in the alphas, there's not much. Very clacky with the cilantros. Good stuff. Okay, this board is quite nice. I quite like it. I'm not a huge gamer, but you could technically just use the left side only, WASD, jump, crouch, whatever. Get lots of desk space. Do what you need to do. Cool. Some of the features that I haven't gone over yet is the tenting. This is the plastic piece to open this. I believe you just wedge it in here. There's a slot here for wedging. So wedge it in here and then just pry it open. Yep, works perfectly. Other side, same thing. Plug it in, pop it open. 5 degrees. So it has 0 and 5 degrees. Technically you can go in between, but you're never going to get the degrees right. Let's see how this feels. Now with the Ergo, I didn't actually like the tent because I preferred my Dollis, which was flat. So I never actually got used to this. Feels pretty good. I don't mind this. Now, with the Ergo, it was a slant. It was joined together like this, and it was a straight slant, I think. I don't think it angled down and up. So that's kind of interesting. So this is like angling down the original 8 degrees and the 10th simultaneously. So instead of just up, it's up and down simultaneously. So that's a little weird. Feels pretty good though. Let's try the wrist rests. So we will lift this up, pop this over. This one goes over here. There's a slot here that the tab connects to, which I believe is easier the other way, but that's okay. Yep, this is good. So join here. This comes off. Let's turn it to this way. Watch the tab. And we're good. All right. Let's try another monkey type with the tenting. Okay, I've got lights. Wireless connection is established. Pull my monkey type back up. All right. Here we go again. This one with the tented. Let's see if the sound changes as well. Quite a bit slower as usual. I'm not really used to it. Let me try flat again. With wrist rest this time. One more time with wrist rests. Not bad. Pretty comfortable with the wrist rest, actually. I'm not usually a wrist rest user, but this is quite comfortable. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I really love this piece. My desk isn't set up for it, but if I didn't have all this extra junk here, I could put this up here, and it would just be on all the time. These pieces are nice. The hinge works great. Wrist rests are nice. That works great. The packaging was beautiful. So far, I like everything with this board. I really haven't seen anything that I don't like. If it's a split you're considering, I think this is one to go for. It's priced, this particular configuration with everything, I believe is $334 plus shipping. So it's not a cheap board. But it's also very fairly priced given the amount of tech in here and the engineering and the CNC and all the different pieces and whatnot. I really like it. I will be using this for the next few days. This is a great board. I quite like it. All right. This board is quite nice. I quite like it. These wrist rests are beautiful. They work great. I mean, there's some argument to be said that these could be better because they gap when you lift them, but honestly, They match the board. They fit great. I don't have an issue with them. The tented I'm not used to at all. I prefer flat. But with the wrist rest, it was quite comfortable. This board is as configured. I believe it's 334. Big thank you to Keys for sending this out to me for me to take a look at and show you guys. 334 plus shipping. The wrist rest is 45. You want to take that off. But I feel like by the time you've got all this, you might as well go for it all. Whether you use these or not, at least they're in the kit. This wireless tech is working beautifully. Wireless QMK, also beautiful. And the build process, super easy. You've got pogo pins, screwless design. You build your PCBs, drop them in, put the screws back in. It's ready to go. Pairing, instantaneous. It's all pretty much seamless from a user standpoint. It's plug and play. One thing I should mention is if you haven't seen the meme video with the Neo Core Duos, that's one good way to test whether a split's going to work for you or not. You just put two of your keyboards down, left hand on one, right hand on one, 2 USB cables, practice typing, see if it's going to work for you. Because even though these are closer together, when you have two 60% side by side, it'll be like this. Just like my video for the teaser for this board. Same thing, so then you just, right? Works good. Battery life remains to be seen. I believe it's quite good though, but no big deal. You got to plug in those things if you want to charge. And you've got indicators to tell you when to charge. So, good job. Great board. It's fairly priced, again. And if you're looking for a split, there's not that many options. There's a lot of esoteric options, small designers. This is the first custom coming from a fairly major, I wouldn't say mass market, but a big player in the game, Keys. It's got a rolling in stock. Basically, they've got them, and you get in a queue, and it's like 2 or 3 weeks later they ship. Good stuff. I really like it. So look forward to a few more sound tests with this, and thank you very much for sticking out this long. If you have, like and subscribe. It's been a long one, I know, and I hope you had a good snack and a good drink. And hit that like button because this is a long one to make. Thank you very much.